Hello, everyone, and welcome. I feel like getting real personal with y'all, but we're going to start with the introductions. My name is Latiste. I do readings on here as well as you can book readings with me down below. You can check out my podcast as well, where I talk about spirituality, life, rants, all those good things. You can also provide love donations if you feel so called to and are moved by the reading. With them being cultivated, created, and planted, let's go ahead and get started. I feel real personable with you guys. In this energy of almost, I'm guessing how people feel about me when they just bear everything, but it just felt like the way I just want to keep getting close to the screen is almost, it feels like a personable, like a friend or, a companion. Like it just feels like we have a long history together. Like we've known each other, but we know each other, right? And so I just keep wanting to get close to you, to this energy. And so that's kind of how this reading felt, this channel reading felt. And it's crazy because even when I had set up, because I like to leave blank pages for the channel readings, but it's almost like they had me do a title for the reading itself. It says, "No name, silent channeled reading, leave space, dot, dot." And so it's like in brackets in different color itself. I was like, huh, no name, silent reading. And it's this energy where it just feels like I don't need to know your name. You don't need to know mine. But we have this almost silent telepathic connection where we just understand, where we just get the grasp, like it's just there. So it's leaving this space, not only to write, but to get to know each other, get to grow. And so I feel like that's currently what's happening, especially with a lot of this reading. It had a lot of questions in this channel messages here, but also just a lot of things and references. But you're definitely leaving space and energy open. Sorry. You're definitely leaving space and energy open to get more familiar with people and allow people to get more familiar with you, resonate with you, and allow things to be a lot more centered in your life than possibly beforehand. I'm seeing like how different planets have a lot more moons, and moons are in control of emotions. And so it's like thinking about our planet and how the moon controls our emotions. I don't know. This is it. I feel like you gotta have these thoughts like where you can where you can be yourself. Like if this is this and this is this, is like you want to be able to share and just speak about those things to people that actually want to get that deep, or not just dismiss it, or just have those weird conversations. I don't know. It just you want to feel, I'm hearing, safe to open your mouth and safe to be around other people with your true thoughts, your true. I'm hearing your true energy, your true religion, not the brand, but actual true religion show. Yeah, it's this energy, like I said, where you're recognizing a lot. You're pulling in a lot of things. Like I said, you're pulling in, like, if they got all these moons, this means there's probably not any life on there for it needing to be controlled. I don't know. It's just, I don't know, this kind of thought that you guys have, and it keeps popping up. So possibly been dealing with your emotions and how you feel around certain people. Thank you, Spirit, trying to understand what those emotions are. Are they yours? Are they theirs? Is it yours because of theirs? Or vice versa, whatever it is. And so you're really just getting deeper into this level of friendship, of connection, of relationships and what they truly mean. But yeah, that's where you're getting to. Because I feel like, yeah, I feel like you're in this space where you're like, damn, is it just gonna be me and my thoughts always, me and spirit team? Am I just? And it's like, but as soon as I open up, this happens, this happens, and it's like you also don't want to speak that over yourself, but you also take notice to. I feel like if you share enough, that is what creates the connection, and that isn't what creates the connection for relationships at all. What creates that connection is curiosity and wanting to understand someone, wanting to invite them into your life, have them in your life. It's not on a controlling aspect or on let me give all this information, because it's like you can give a little bit and somebody still decide, or you can give a lot and somebody still decide not to fuck with you, or like it's just, do they feel connected, do they feel aligned, and that's what it comes down to. And so you're also taking that into revelation as well. So let's also get more into depth into this. We have get to a place where you're sure of yourself. So for that to be the first part, and we're coming in with this familiar, get to a place where you're sure of yourself. Because even if sometimes you might not even overshare and you still feel embarrassed of what you did talk about, or doing too much, or feel like you shouldn't have worn that. It's like the way that you are going to get to that place where you're sure of yourself is knowing why you do what you do. It's kind of like how I say nobody should know you better than you know yourself, because the only way that they know you is by what you told them or what they're perceiving that they're seeing themselves, and they can only understand you from their own perception in that reality. So to be sure of yourself is to know yourself, to understand yourself, to know why you're doing things, why you don't do the that's for you to know. If you need to over explain to anybody, it needs to be yourself. And so it's like coming to the realization that, am I sure of myself? When I make this decision, when I say these things, when I put on these outfits, when I decide to do these, right, am I sure of myself? It's almost like you have this guilty pleasure kind of energy a little bit with being you, with being authentic, or yeah, it's like this place of like being real, which lines up with the next one, because we have, hi everybody, hi Dr. Nick, Peanut Gallery. You almost feel like you're being constantly watched or perceived or talked about or thought about. And I think that's because you're thinking about everybody else so much. In order to also be sure yourself, to know yourself, you have to understand that even if people are in the peanut gallery watching, they're watching you. Even if you're like people are perceiving you, are going to look at you a certain way, this and that, they're looking at you. They still are trying to gather information about you, your life, how you talk, how you think, how you speak. And so once you realize and recognize that power that you have, that grand scale of things that you have where you can draw people in or push people out by you just being you, that is where you're able to relay information to your higher younger self, to be like, I'm living in the present moment now. I'm here. So get to a place where you're sure of yourself. Even when you possibly stumble, even when you change your mind, even when you got to stand your ground, be sure of yourself. Because people are only going to be as sure of you as they are of themselves. And so, in the way that you think people are thinking about you, and now you're overanalyzing what they say and what they do in regards to you, that's what you feel like they're doing. But you're just doing that. They might not even be thinking about you. And if they are, sometimes people do be out, you know, I'll tell the truth. Sometimes, even if they are, they still are having to watch you. I don't know, like even with the hi everybody, hi Dr. Nick, everybody knows you by name, your energy by name. But you just say, hey, buddy. So it's also letting you know you don't need to take in everybody's thoughts, perceptions, actions, reactions, all this stuff as personal, or as you, or as or any duplication of that. Because even if they are in the peanut gallery, they're watching you. They're watching how you move, how you set that up, how you get it done. I'm saying that one episode where Homer had to get surgery done, and Dr. Nick obviously didn't know what he was doing. In reference to y'all, but it's just a show. And Lisa was in the thing. She was like, "You have to do this," banging on the glass. He was like, "Oh, thank you, little girl." Like it's kind of like this energy where it's like, "Thank you." And I feel like with that coming in with this revelation, you're going to get to a place where somebody's going to be actually giving constructive criticism or truly help or true support, where you don't feel like you need to overexpose self or feel shame about just sharing little things, or where you feel like you have to change your authenticity to be palatable, or you're going to be around people that are going to notice like when you need help, when you just want support, when you just want to hang out with. You're going to be around people that you don't, that silent channeled energy, or you're leaving space and they feel that space with an understanding of you because they're looking at you from your point of view, not from theirs, not their own perceptions, misconceived notions, anything of that sort. They're seeing you in your true authenticity and who you are and how you show up and how you speak. They recognize when things are out of your character. It reminds me of Naruto Shippuden, where they were like the white Zetsu was copying the chakra, and the way I'm seeing the scene where Sakura had found out, she was like, "Yeah, Tauntaun, she sprained her hands, so she can't weave signs." And obviously, Tauntaun is a pig if you don't know. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I hope she feels better." And that's how she knew it wasn't the real one. And it's gonna be people around you that's gonna recognize this ain't the real you, and it can be defeating you when somebody's trying to. So it's like where everybody's saying hi, everybody, and you're saying, um, he's saying hi, everybody, and they're saying hi. Like somebody's going to be able to point out something within you that maybe even you've forgotten or haven't recognized within some. But it's this energy where some are in the peeling gallery and some are banging on the glass to get your attention to help you. They're not just watching; they want to get involved in the right ways. So once you get to a place of being sure of yourself, you recognize I don't need to do everything for the peanut. I don't need to do everything for spec. I need to do it for myself. And the people that see me doing for myself, wanting for myself, living for myself, about myself, without trying to replace me, change me, or some people want you to live a life that makes them feel comfortable with them not having to change. You're recognizing that as well. So if there are not already people in your life like this, that is coming in. And it's going to happen even more so where you're recognizing it, when you are sure of yourself, what you do, what you know, this and forth. We have rest when needed and wanted. Thank you, sweetie. I feel like you take it how you want to take it. Okay? I say it kind of gives this kind of middle school energy, not even kind of high school energy, this kind of middle school energy where obviously my people are 18 plus on here, but there's middle school energy where you're really trying to figure yourself out. Because once you go from elementary, where you typically are in the same class with the same people over and over, now you're going from different classes to different teachers, to like you really are in a different environment every 30 minutes or so. You're in a completely different environment with completely different people. You might have some of the same people from the same class. And so it's almost like you're trying to figure out, how do I show up here? Like, and it could be like you're showing up good in creative writing and cooking and history and this. So your energy, who you are, is showing up in a different way because you're confident in that versus say maybe science. You're like, ooh, and so you're showing up different in that way. Those are still you. Ashe, that is still you. And so going back to the first part, being sure of yourself, you're recognizing these, I'm still me in all these energies, whether I'm confident or I'm not sure of myself. And so that's what I mean by this middle school energy, where you're going from being constantly in the same place, in the same mode, possibly the same environments, possibly around the same people, kind of wavering on your boundaries, or really figuring out what you do or do not like, just really diving deep into that. And so you're recognizing I can still be me. Because no matter what, even if I say hi, everybody, my name is not going to change. Who I am is not going to change. Hi, Dr. Nick. So when you're going in these different spaces, whether you know people or you don't, um, whether you're in, I'm here in a new environment completely. Like in a lot of the channel messages I've been given for the collective and things of that sort, a lot of moves have been happening from people, state and cross country. So just kind of getting into this energy, people are going to meet you. They're going to meet you in a space. If it's safe, they're going to meet you. If it's not safe, they're still going to meet you. They're just going to meet different versions of you. And so, with that coming in, rest when needed and wanted, you need to give yourself breaks to come back to you, to come back to your body, to just take a moment where you're not in the peanut gallery, when you're not analyzing yourself, when you're not overanalyzing the situation I'm here, when you're just resting, not just sleeping, but instead of cooking, maybe ordering some food so that way you can spend that extra time just breathing. You know, instead of going extra hard, trying to lift extra hard in the gym, maybe it's a light cardio day. You know, and it's like that's what it's rest when needed and wanted, because when you are getting the longest relationship you'll have is with yourself. This whole reading, it's even the channel messages kind of zone out a bit, but it's essentially a relationship with yourself and what that means to you and the relationship with yourself and how you show up for other people because of that. And so when you are resting, when you feel like, no, I don't want to do this, if your immediate thought is, I don't want to do this because I have no desire, I have no energy, I have no strength, or I just can't do this, or I don't want to do this. If after that you know how you're feeling, your energy, everything, and this is different from kind of just being like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know. Just kind of an example where I was like, I don't know if I really want to. I was going to a concert for myself. I said, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like, I don't know if I really want to go. It'll be fine. I got the insurance. And I was kind of just a little, and then I was like, why am I feeling this way? And I was like, oh shit, why am I feeling this way? And it just kind of came to realization to that, like, oh, and I want to go. And I was like, I'm so glad I went versus other times where I'm just like, oh, I do not want to go. And I asked that question, it's like, oh, that's why. And so I feel like this rest when needed and warranted. If once you ask that question, why are you second guessing what your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotion, everything is telling you, and it goes outward to, oh, I don't want to do this to this person, or I don't want to do or for someone else, or for how it will look, or this and that. It's like it doesn't matter how it's going to look, because again, perception is going. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Opinions is in the eye of the beholder. Feelings is in the eye of the beholder. Every is in the eye of the beholder. And I feel like you're getting to that. So when you're resting, when you're like, no, I can't do that today. No, I'm not setting up today. No, I'm not running errands today. Or I'm going to switch it up. Like I said, instead of cooking, I'm just going to order in. Instead of, it's like you're taking advantage of the space that you have, of this concept of energy that you have, where I can rest. I can just breathe. I can take it easy. I see. I'm seeing somebody that's like, you know what? I pay all this money to live in this place. I'm gonna use the motherfucking dishwasher. Utilities is included. I ain't gotta pay for no extra for water, and I've been paying, or I'm hearing I have been paying for water anyway. I'm gonna use the goddamn dishwasher. It's things like that where you are resting when needed and wanted. And that allows you to get back to a space of knowing yourself, understanding yourself, being sure of yourself. Because under that we have, do you really want this? Do you really want that? You're really taking a look at your life and how you have cultivated and created it, how you built it up. What is your algorithm looking like? And I'm not talking about digitally, I'm talking about your algorithm of friends, your algorithm of when people see you, what do they get? Because I always tell people, if you're expecting anything but me from me, we should not be close. We should not be friends. We should not be family. We should not be. You need to expect me from me. And I mean that even if somebody's expecting, you always did this, you always did this. I'm not doing that now. It doesn't work for me. It was stifling me, or it didn't give me much time for this, or I don't want to. I checked in with myself, and so this is where we're going. Either you're with it or you're gone. People are going to perceive it however they want to perceive it. So, do you really want this? Ask yourself, if you've been wanting something, is do you want that thing, or do you want what that thing will provide? The thoughts that it will provide, that energy. Do you really want that person? Do you really want that relationship, or do you want what you feel like it provides or what it has? So, taking that in, do you really want this? You have to get each part. The first measure, you got get to a place where you're sure of yourself. What do you really want? How do you really feel? What do you really need? Why do you really want and need these things? Do you really want this? Like I said, it was a lot to do with questions, because another one is, did you put cement around your feet to stay stuck? Did you accept so many things? Did you not allow yourself to change? Whatever it is. So you're taking into account, and it could even be with being sure of yourself, cement around yourself, and be like, should I have said that? Should I have done that? Should I have let them know that I don't really know what I'm doing? Or should I have shown that I do know what I'm doing? Putting cement around yourself can be not knowing what you want. Just accepting this. So, did you put cement around your feet to stay stuck? And the fact that they just put feet, not your body, your feet, to stay stuck. Because you weren't beforehand. But it's something where you have to take a look at yourself of why you are placing yourself in this mindset, in this energy, or in this mode. And it really comes down to you. You're going to have to change. And not only introduce yourself to yourself, but possibly to other people. Because there are people like Lisa in that episode where it's like, hey, I noticed you ain't been doing it in a while. Not in a way of like trying to get you like, hey, hustle hard. But it's like, I noticed you ain't said this in a while. I noticed you ain't did this in a while. Have you done? It's like certain things. It's like, oh shit, I did. And they accept you, like, oh, y'all don't do it anymore. Like, oh, okay. Well, how did you come to that conclusion? It's like, I always say, true love comes with true curiosity. I'm going to ask questions because I want to get to know you. I want to get to understand you. But if I'm always putting my perceptions and thoughts and ideals onto you, this is also how you can get people and be in a relationship just based off of the potential. And not the actions, not the actual answers, not the conclusion. So make sure and be cautious where you're putting that in. Okay? This is really about getting to know yourself. That's why I always say end this with, I love you, but love yourselves more. Even with all this energy transmission I'm getting from your spirit teams, guys, and just your openness to receive, I still don't know you. Nobody will ever know you better than you know yourself. There are emotions that you don't express all the time, and not hiding, you just don't express. There are thoughts that you don't speak all the time. There are ideas that you just come up with, and there's so much in your life that's your day to day that you don't need a narrator for it. But you are narrating it. And that's why I say you're taking a look into realizing the life that you have cultivated, accumulated, and that you are standing by, that you continuously uphold, that you continuously build. That's why I was like, do you really want this? Do you really want that? Do you really need this? Do you really feel this way? So rest when needed. Rest your mind. Rest your body. Rest your spirit. I always say your body should be a safe place for you to always be at and or come back to. It's your first home essentially. Is yourself. That's where your spirit lies. We have the numbers, unless you astral projection, but that's a different story for a different day and for different energy. No, astral projection is very heavy for you guys. I'm hearing out of body experiences, floating above yourself. It's almost like walking next to yourself for some of you. Yeah, you're gonna have to be your own friend. Not like you can't have any other friends, but you really have to be sure of yourself, knowing yourself. Mm, yeah, and I think that's why you do, especially with this stay stuck. Is like I keep underlining it. It's like you're everything wants to travel, but you feel like your physical body can't live in that energy, maybe, or in that realm of how it would look. I remember I had an aunt, and I don't talk to them, but I had an aunt. Well, I was going to tell, I just was asking her, and I was like, they were like, I don't know how you got into this, and by this they mean my tarot readings and things of that sort. But I hope you come back to God and this and that. And I'm just like, girl, I was doing this. First of all, I've been doing this for about 11 years or so now. So the last couple of times we hung out, I was doing it. Pretty much every time that you've ever seen me within these past couple of years, and you very not much around, I've been doing it. I've been acting like that. But again, people's perception of you, people's thoughts of you, because of how I speak, I just speak spiritually, and it resonates because I'm speaking spiritually. I'm speaking from the divine. I'm speaking from truth. I'm speaking from that source. And so, with you resonating with it, with you agreeing with it, with you seeing a shift in the movie in life, all these things. But as soon as you find out that I read cards, oh, since I don't know how you got into that. But you was taking those messages when it was resonating. You was taking that energy because you thought it was coming from something else. So also be mindful of people and energies that are okay with taking your energy when they are okay with it applying to their own thoughts. If that makes sense, it makes sense. You get what I'm saying. So it's like, oh, I thought you was doing this because of this. Or I thought you were saying it was like, no, I was just doing it. That's just how you resonated with it. That's how you took it. And that's also going to help you to not take things as personally anymore as well. To realize people are just going to take things how they take things. It's like that thing on Twitter where it's like, man, I sure do love pancakes. And somebody's like, oh, so you don't fuck with waffles. It's kind of like people are just going to do whatever they feel like doing. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes they submit around your feet to stay stuck is other energies, other people, other thoughts, or people's perceptions. Again, that peanut gallery. Not everybody should be welcomed inside of that operating room. And not everybody will be. You have the number 6, 8, 22, 65 is not on here, but they told me to say it. 47, 59, 68, 420, 869, 1908, 1907, 24, 92, 66, 17, 362, 302, 487, 920, 88, 99, and 62. I think I said that already. In 67, a lot of sixes. Sixes is about taking a step back and reflection. Virgo energy, analyzing energy of self, the body, who you are in that realm. Are you considering yourself? Are you cultivating a life that you truly want to live in and be in and accept? The six house energy of nostalgia, of reflection, of moving back after you have changed, because it comes after five. That change, that shift, that guidance, and that mode. So yeah, a lot of reflection energy coming in here. We have don't be scared or easily jumped by the magic in your house. Right? And I feel like with you coming into realization with yourself, I always like to say, don't be surprised that you're working with beings that don't live on this realm. It just starts happening in a way that's showing you that things are not just happening on this realm. Don't be surprised by the magic that you're weaving in your life, and now you're starting to see it. You're starting to experience it. You're like, why the fuck is this shit moving? It's like, you knew you were talking, right? To God, to the universe, to whom so forth ever you put. You knew you was talking. Nobody was in front of you or around you on the Cisco rhyme, but all of a sudden when you start hearing voices in the middle of the night, like, what the fuck? And they like, hey, you got this, do. Or you, like I said, for a lot of you, astral traveling, dream project, lucid dreaming. So what the fuck? You're starting to get a lot more synchronicities, people coming or saying things or just words just lining up. Like, what the fuck? Do not get jump scared. Do not get scared at all. Because when you start coming back to a connection of self, there's nothing that beats that. There's nothing that can confuse that. There's nothing that can waver that. Once you know and understand self. So when you are walking in this magical energy of knowing yourself, which that's magic, that's power. That's strength. I don't know why I'm saying fucking Orochimaru when all his subordinates always be like, I'll do anything for them, I'll do anything for them. And it's like your power on your own. It's like, but they were so ready to give it away and use it for somebody else, and you recognize I don't need to use it for anybody else. And so with that realization, don't be afraid when you start calling back your power, your energy, your essence, your joy, your creativity, your lively. When you start calling shit back and your life starts changing in a way, not just on the physical, but on the metaphysical, don't be scared. Like, I didn't place that there. Oh, where is this? Where's my shit at? And now you delayed, and the reason why you delayed wound up working out in your favor. I'm seeing the Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, where they were getting all these tickets to go see their band, their favorite, people playing, and they had to get ready on the train because they had to sneak out from the house. They had to get ready on the train, and they accidentally left the tickets to get in on the train. And one of the main singers, one of the main people that they wanted to see, winds up getting kicked out after the show or during the show or something like that. And they wound up like cleaning them up and this and that. But it's like the experience that they got was way better than what they were expecting. It was kind of seemed a little chaotic. It kind of seemed a little, but it wound up working out. So not only later on, it's like, it's almost like this. It's like the impossible. Like, oh, you met, and then even people still was like, oh, you met them. Like, is that for real? Is that? And then he wound up showing up later on, like, hi, thank you for saving me that day. It's like this energy, like I said, where your mode of transportation and how you decide to move your body throughout your life is a delicate process that you are interweaving into something that is more of a possibility to the eyes of others that thought wasn't possible. And so being sure of yourself, asking yourself what you really need, what you really want. Do I really want this? Is this really how I'm operating? Is this the desire? Is this the purpose? Or just people in the peanut gallery? Is anybody screaming out to help me, to be there, to be present? Or are they just watching, ogling, taking it in? Am I doing that with my own life? Am I putting cement on my feet and just watching life and taking it in and not doing anything? We have, what are you waiting for? Again, a lot of questions. And when you're asking a lot of questions, like I said, the best part of experiencing love is the curiosity of those questions, because it leads to answers. It leads to that truth. So it's like, what are you waiting for? No matter what you're waiting for. Like, I don't have the right tools, or I don't know the right people, or I don't have the right body, or I don't have enough training, or so what are you truly waiting for? Why do you feel like you're holding yourself back? I mean, I don't know the language. What are you waiting for? Who are you waiting for? Because sometimes when you're asking that question or giving excuses continuously for why you can't do something or why something can't set up, or it reminds me of this story where there's a flood happening and there's a whole bunch of cars and they able to get out before the flood happens, and they, hey, you want to go? No, I'm waiting on God. Like, they're gonna come, and then the floods kind of rise, and now you got people in boats, and they're like, hey, like, we're here to come get you. Like, no, I'm waiting on God. I'm waiting on God. And then after the boat happens, then you got a helicopter, and it's like, no, I'm waiting on God. The helicopter's like, we're here to help you. Like, and then they wind up dying, obviously from drowning. And then they get there like, God, why didn't you save me? Why didn't you help me with any of this? And they was like, we sent a car, we sent a boat, we sent a helicopter. Like, I sent these things. So sometimes I feel like you are expecting something in a certain way, and that's also you going off of perceived notions, you going off of misconceptions or things of that sort. And so that's where you really have to get aligned and to know yourself. Like, is this just a stepping stone, or do I feel like I have to step on this stone to get to where I want to go? The mountain is a full 360, baby. You don't need to just go the way that everybody sees, recognizes, or observes. And so I feel like you are addressing your own path. So with this, what are you waiting for? What are you truly waiting for? Because I feel like it's a lot, this word keeps coming closer, with you being seen. Possibly is not as smart, or possibly seen as showboating, possibly like whatever it is. But it's like, what are you truly waiting for? Is unprepared? Who cares? You have to decide, what am I waiting for? What am I pausing my life, my creativity, my dreams, my desires, my expression, my sensuality, my laugh, my energy? What am I waiting for? What am I trying to shield from? Why am I overanalyzing it? We also got blue and gray. Those are I'm just seeing blue and gray. The colors itself, but I'm also hearing like a gray area, but it's like this bluish grayish energy, like blue and gray birds, possibly the ocean, seashells. Yeah. It says, can you find a way to love yourself before the end? Like I said, it's a lot of questions here. Can you find a way to love yourself before the end? Can you find a way to love yourself before you get the car? Can you find a way to love yourself before you get the partner? Can you find a way to love yourself before you die? Can you find a way to love yourself before somebody else, your mom, your brother, your sister, auntie, accepts you? Can you find a way to love yourself before you get the end result that you think that you need? Can you find a way to truly treat yourself as the longest standing relationship that you'll ever have, that has been there with you through the ups and downs, that has been nurturing you, that has been cautious with you? Can you find a way to love yourself before the end? Before I'm hearing, before you get your Grammy, before you get the nominations, before you get the accolade, before that, can you love yourself? We have ex-lover, be picky. And then I heard the song Choosy Lovers Never Speaking to Each Other by Earth Gang. But yeah, ex-lover, be picky. So that can be somebody coming in from, but you have to be picky. Use that discernment, because for some of you, the reason why I'm saying ex-lover, be picky, choose lovers, because for some of you, it was in that mode where you didn't feel like you were worthy of possibly this friendship, this romantic relationship, or this familiar connection, but there's something coming back, and it's like, okay, be picky. Like, was this actually truly because y'all just should not be talking, fucking with each other, or is it because you feel like you were not worthy, or you feel like they were not worthy, whatever it is? So be picky. Just be picky. Okay? I always like to say the reason why they made vegan is so I can be extra picky. So be extra picky. I got expensive taste. I put my niggas like my food. Okay? People do it because it's them, not you. People do it because it's them and their relationship with themselves, and thus the exchange of the relationship that they have with you because of that. It's not because of you, though. It's kind of like almost you don't know that you're triggering somebody until you they say, hey, this is kind of a trigger for me. This is kind of upsetting to me. Or you don't know that something makes somebody happy or joyful sometimes unless they express it or they say it. So it's almost like you don't know these things. Like I said, if nobody knows you better than you know yourself, you don't know that person better than they know themselves. So people do it because it's them and how they know themselves, their connection. But that's it. Don't take anything personal. People do it because it's them, not because it's you. Whether they're selfless or selfish, whether they're kind or compassionate. We have Bluebell sweetened ice cream. I don't know what that's about. Bluebell sweetened ice cream. And then I just also got like sweetness, like something. It's like you could have been craving sweetness. I think you're looking for some sweetness in your life. So definitely with that, but blueberry sweetened ice cream. Something with sweetening your life. Or I'm seeing those like little sweet and low packets. Just something where you're like adding a little extra sweetness to your meals. Now I'm seeing like grits and oatmeal, like these heavy. It's like you're just adding some type of substance to your life, but you're sweetening that substance. You know what I'm saying? So that's possibly what I was getting by earlier. But like this pie energy, where it's like it takes a while to create and craft and get just right, but it's so sweet, it's so delicious, it's delicate. Even ice cream takes some time to get into the right consistency and flavor. But yeah, Bluebell sweet ice cream. I don't know what that's for. Those messages are for you. Ashe. We have truth is the temperature that your body is willing to receive it. Truth is at the temperature that your body is willing to receive it. So you know how they say revenge is the best dish served cold, or you can't handle the truth. This is hot. This is piping hot, and it's like the truth is at the temperature that you are going to receive it. And so going back to willing that your body, going back to yourself, I know when I get like a feeling in my leg, it's like, okay, I need to massage my leg. I can't move. I just need to massage. It's like certain things where you're noticing little things in your body when it's doing something or acting a certain way. It's like, okay, I need to do this. Or where my mind starts to think this way, I need to move or operate in this or listen to music. And so that is, like I said, you're going to recognize, is this uncomfortable? Should I be asking this question? Should I change? Or does this need to stay the same? It's recognizing the truth and how your body reacts to it. Was it shocked, like it shocked you cold? Oh shit, we did polar dip. So truth is at the temperature that your body is willing to receive it. Okay, it's like ice water in the middle of the night, or it's like ice water at the top of a goddamn ice mountain. You're like, I'm cold on the outside and on the inside. I put in the little stars gasping for air, so it's almost like you're actually gasping for air. And then they put don't gasp when the chest has enough room to breathe. So you don't need to be gasping for air when you have more than enough room to breathe. And that's why I think you got a lot of the sixes. You're taking a step back. You're realizing a lot of things with yourself. Because sometimes it can just, hilariously, spirit is funny. A lot of other people taking up your energy and space. It's like when you're locked in a bunker. They're like, we only have enough air supply for this amount of people. But it's like, you're not in a bunker. You don't need to hunker down. You don't need to preserve energy. You have more than enough space to breathe. So don't gasp for air. It's almost if you're gonna run out or it's not gonna work out. Just kind of breathe. Okay? Going back to that rest when needed. Breathe. We have love how it works for you, not the story told by or for others. Going back to your magic, your energy, your stuff, things have to work out for you. Going back to that middle school energy in the classroom, being authentically yourself in all those places, no matter what it looks like, but it works for you. So love how it works for you and not the story that can be told by others or the story that you might, if that ain't what you did, that ain't what you did, but you can do it next time. if you really so want to. But it's going back to loving self, loving the life that you're creating, looking at it from a graceful eye, from a divine eye, not a judging eye. We got perfect pitch and perfect timing. It reminds me of what's the song by Tim's? When they call my name, I find a voice within me. It's like anytime you find that voice within yourself, that reason within yourself, that alignment within yourself, that's perfect pitch. That's perfect timing. Like I said, I'm gonna check in with me first and then I'll get back to you. I'm gonna live for me first and then I'll get back to you. So if you've been feeling called to do something, going back to that, what are you waiting for? This is the perfect time. You doing it makes it perfect. We got left hand, lazy hand, religious context, dead wrong, change the narrative, and train the hands. And I wrote this because people, I was thinking about how people like, if your left hand is itching, it means you're losing money. But I'm like, that was possibly made from somebody that's right hand dominant. And I be thinking about stuff like that. And like I said, going back to the planets, the moons, and you just kind of thinking about how things like, why did they say that? That makes no sense. And so it's this energy was like, because I was raised, it was like I can receive money from both hands. So if my hand is itching, no matter what it is, I'm getting money. But then some people like, oh, it's this, you're losing it just because the left hand is itching. It's like, baby, I can get the money and spend that money on a vacation. I'm not losing money, I'm just spending. So is you're changing the narrative how you think of things and you're training your hand. So you could be using your non-dominant hand when it is left or right. You're using, I'm hearing obscure things or just out there things. You're just allowing yourself, because like I said, religious context, I always like to say the Bible is just people's stories that they have with the divine in their life. That's it. It is literally the relationship that they have with the divine, and they wrote the story about it. This is what I went through. This is what I experienced. This is how I found my path, and then they published it. Everybody can write a Bible because everybody's had that connection with the divine if they have had that connection with self. And so you're changing the narrative of how things are not working for you. It's like some people may say I don't have the tools, but don't I? Reminds me of the people that worked at ADD before it got to where it was. And they was like, yeah, we shot a lot of our videos on just our iPhones. And this is a major company ran by a millionaire. But the deals they were did, the creation, the ideas, it's just like it's changing the narrative. And we didn't know until years out of line, like, yeah, we was creating it until we was able to get the cameras. And so it was kind of a startup. And so with the left hand, lazy hand, it's not a lazy hand. It's not dominant or non-dominant. It's what am I deciding to do with it? What are you deciding to create? Because the religious context, what it meant with religious context being dead wrong, it's just the story for them. You can possibly resonate with it, but what is your story? What is your energy? We have sitting in silence is different for a mind or brain that's ready to hear. Sitting in silence is different for a mind that's ready to hear. Like I said, you guys had a lot of questions. A lot of questions. And so when you're sitting in that silence, whatever it may be for your meditation or just rest or just taking a breather or a moment, you know that you're going to get something heard back. You know that you're going to hear something. So when you're sitting in that silence, when you're sitting in that conversation and mode of energy of self, you know that that's completely different when you don't want to hear. It's like, I don't want to see the goddamn, I'm tired of seeing 111 versus my mind. Yes, that's exactly what I needed. That 111 is exactly what I needed to reassure me. Or why the fuck do birds keep singing extra loud? What the hell? You don't even realize that that's just loud messages complete. So it's like sitting in that silence, sitting in that, once I ask that question, what am I waiting for? Do I really want this? How do I feel about this? Why am I questioning myself so much? All these things. Once you sit in that silence, you'll get the answers that you're looking for. We have teleport or time jump. That's where they literally left it. I'm being as honest as real. They said teleport or time. So again, going back to the astral projecting, lucid dreaming, feeling like you're right next to yourself, getting to know yourself again, jumping timelines, energies of that sort, just kind of thinking outside the box of the narrative of spiritual context and reality. And so just different conversations. So it's just teleporting and time jumping where you're realizing, especially with the perfect timing and time jump, as soon as you start speaking and moving in a way that feels aligned and authentic to yourself, when you become more sure of yourself, that's also when it happens as well. Okay. Final one that we have is test the waters or wear jade. That can be the color green if you want, or the actual like colored jade green or actual jade jewelry. But yeah, I'm hearing, thank you, we're hearing. Test the waters or wear jade. Jade helps you to become unbiased, to see things again from a higher perspective, from your side and their side, while not abandoning yourself. So either test the waters with just being you and see how that works out and see how you feel, or wear jade to allow yourself to know that you can be how you feel. That heart chakra energy, opening space energy. Okay? But that has been the channel messages. I love you. Love yourselves more. Until next time.